Hi, I'm Guitar George. I want to talk about the first stage in any good guitar setup, the neck set or neck relief. Now, most guitars want a very slight upward curve in the neck itself. It's controlled by the truss rod. The truss rod sits in the back of the neck and it's anchored at one end and has an adjustable nut on a screw thread at the other. So the tension in the strings will be pulling the neck into a very slight upward curve, but the truss rod will be pulling back against the neck to pull it the other way, and it's balancing the tension in the truss rod against the tension in the strings to give the required neck set. So I need to measure it with the guitar in the playing position. If you leave it flat on a bench with it supported at headstock, that's going to put pressure and weight. It's going to put an extra bit of set into it. So the playing position takes out any other inaccuracies. And I like to use my notched straight edge. So putting that on the face of the fretboard, I can instantly see that this neck is in fact very, very flat. If I use my engineer's feeler gauge and I'm looking for somewhere between 8 and 12 thousandths of an inch halfway along the neck between the nut and where the neck's bolted on, so about the 7th fret, and actually there's a small gap, but I can't even get my feeler gauge in there, so the neck is too flat, so I need to add relief, and I'll do that by loosening off the truss rod. Now, loosening the truss rod with the strings at full tension is one thing, tightening it is not a good idea. It's a sure way of perhaps stripping the threads. So with my truss rod adjuster, it slides nicely into the hexagonal Allen socket on the top, and all I need to do is loosen it just a small amount, so that's probably enough for the amount of relief I want to add to this neck. It wasn't far off. So back into the playing position with my straight edge, if I can get hold of it, onto the face of the fretboard, and I can instantly see now I've got a little bit more of a gap there, and that's a little bit tight, still not quite enough. In fact, that's, yes, just a little bit snug, so I need to add a little bit more relief. So back with the truss rod adjuster, just a smidgen of a turn, that's probably enough. And there we go, that looks a little bit better. And now at the 7th fret, that's just sliding in nicely. So that is a good setup for that neck. As I say, if you're tightening the truss rod, it's a good idea to take the tension out of the strings first, take the pressure off the truss rod, add the tension, and then bring the strings back to pitch. So there we are, first step in any good setup, neck relief. For more details, check out my website www.guitar-george.co.uk. You have a good day.